Okay, what we're going to be doing for this part of the tutorial here is we're going to be finishing up the body of the car and modeling the back. So we're just going to continue where this side panel here stopped, and we're just going to model the back out of that. So the first thing we need to do is when we look at our image planes, we can see we don't have one in the back loaded yet, so we're going to go ahead and load that one that we made in Photoshop, so that we prepared in Photoshop, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and load it up. So this one right here. And now we can see the back of the car. So we can see how this window comes down here, and that will help us to align our object in the viewports. So we go ahead and create a cube. And move it back. And scale it out a little bit. So that'll work for now. And we're going to go ahead and turn our wireframe on shaded to give us a rough estimate of about how many lines or divisions we're going to need for the side and the top. And so if we look at this, we can see we'll probably need, we'll just say 3 lines connected for the top. So we'll give it, this one can go here, this one here, and the very center can go to the very edge there. And that'll work. So now we need for the rest of them, well actually we don't need to worry about that because we only need 1 for that. So now all we need to worry about is how many are we going to need to cut out this little circle where the wheel goes. So we'll go ahead and give a few for height. Like 5. For depth, we're just going to give it 3. So now we can go into our face selection mode and delete that half. Now we are going to need these back faces here since it's the back of the car. That means we're not going to need the front ones, so select those, delete those, and we'll select these 2, 1 face in on each side, and delete those. So now we can get out of that, and we can go ahead and move these over to somewhat aligned in the top viewport here. So about like that. You see these need to be brought down a little bit. This needs to be about where that line there is, so go ahead and bring these down. Now we'll bring this one down. And we're just going to go ahead and move these back to give us some room to cut out this shape for the wheel here. So about like that then. Now we can go ahead and snap these vertices to the side panel here. And that's just holding down the V key to snap again. Go ahead and move these back over now. Look in the top viewport and see this is going to need to come over. And down. Something looks like it'll work for a start. You can actually look in the back viewport here and see. You need to bring it down. And try and keep this somewhat consistent with how this curves around the car here. We'll bring that in on the top. It actually starts coming down here on the side, so we'll bring it down as well. And actually, I should probably bring these over more. I'm just going to make this arch around like that. So now we'll just readjust these real quick. So maybe something like that for this row here. And that looks about right for that row. So from the top viewport here. So now we'll go ahead and finish up with this right here now. And we're just going to end up modeling this back little grill that's right here, covering the brake lights. And the exhaust back here, we're going to model that separately. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and align this back panels up here with where the actual body part is, and not where the grill is or any of that stuff. Not right now, at least. We're not going to worry about that part. So now we can come in here and we could delete these faces if we want, but for right now we're going to leave them around to see if maybe there's a better option, or if we want to use them later on for something like an extrusion or something. So for now we're just going to leave them there, and Make sure everything's looking pretty smooth here. I'm going to need to move this row right here around in the top viewport, it looks like. So we'll go back into our vertex mode and see how things are lining up here. So we'll put that more like that so it's pretty straight with this next row here. And we could even go ahead and point snap it to that vertex and then just move it straight out. That might be faster. So we'll go ahead and do it that way. So now it's more like that. You can see these lines are all running straight from this row to this row. Maybe we want another row coming down here so we can bring this edge up a little bit. So we'll use our split tool. Now I'll go ahead and raise. Actually, we're going to need to bring this one up. Now we'll bring this one up. So it's a bit more rounded there. And looks like I could even stand to do that with this row, or with this section. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Now there's pretty much a rough outline of the back. It looks like everything's flowing somewhat decent there. Looks like we have enough to work with at least. So now we'll go ahead and do this little sort of where the trunk, or I guess that's what you call it, this little center part above or below the spoiler connects to. I'm not quite sure what you call that. But anyways, we'll work on that now. And I think we're just probably go about that using the edge extrude, or the extrude edge. And we might as well just select all of these here. And we'll deselect these edges. So now we'll extrude these. Go ahead and do it again. And even one more time. So we get our vertices here and just merge them all real quick. Make sure there's no holes. We'll actually put this right there. And we're going to model this part separate, the top part. We'll do that next after we do the back panel here. But for now, we're just gonna spread these out a little more even. So now we need to grid snap this whole row here, so that we do have exactly half the car. That should be good enough for now. And now we'll go ahead and move these back here. You can see they're not all grid snapped, because now it snaps to group instead of individually, so we'll have to go back and select them one by one now. I don't remember my 4.0 doing that. I've only noticed it in 4.5, so. But oh well, we can manage with it. So now we have to the center, like that. And we're going to need to carve out this a little bit more. So now we get to work on that. One thing we can see is that this comes up to the back window here, so we're going to have to raise this way up like that. But it's not quite that high in the side viewport, so we're just going to kind of find a middle. We go and do the same for this one. Like so. I'm going to bring these up to make it a little bit smoother here, so it's not a big dip right there. But maybe it is rounded a little bit. So it is going to need to come underneath the spoiler. I'm just going to sort of guess about where these should go for now. So again, we're just coming in here one by one and moving these. So now looking at it, you can see where the little hatch here is. And this window for the door, or for the engine. But we're also going to need to bring this up because we can see from the top view that there is a little nice little crease here from where the top starts rising here towards the middle, and then it dips down, and then the edge starts rising above the wheel here. So we're going to need to add a line coming down here, it looks like, to raise this up a little more. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Cut it right down the middle here. And again, since this isn't for a game or anything, we're not worried about the poly count. We can just bring this all the way down. And now we're coming in here and start raising these up a little bit. And it looks like even though I moved these back earlier, I'm going to need to move them out again. So now if we take a look, we can see we're starting to get some a dip right there, but it doesn't look like it's quite enough. So go ahead and undo that sub-D conversion. And what we're going to do now is just move these over more towards this crease so that it'll be more noticeable. Maybe we'll just bring this right along to where the spoiler edge is. It connects to the car. Like that, maybe. So now if we take another look at that, how it looks when it's converted. And you can see it's a little bit sharper now. It's still not as sharp as it could be. And if you want to add more, what you'll have to do is divide it using the split tool again. But maybe we'll just try moving these rows here over. Like this. It's too much. And so with that tweaking, I think it's about where it should be. You can see a crease starting there now. And now the tricky part for this part of the car is going to be the spoiler that's going across there. It's really not going to be all that easy to do. At least, maybe not. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be easier than it looks. So now we're just going to roughly align how that should be about. So it looks like it's about this thick when you see it here in this viewport. Up a little more even. And what we need to do now is have this flow into the side of the car here, because that's how it is, how the car is designed. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use the soft and hard normals for that, so it looks a bit smoother looking at it in hardware shaded. And let's add some divisions to the width here, so we can give it somewhat of an arch. So we'll go ahead and give it 6. It needs an even number, so you can again just do half of it, since we are going to mirror it. So now we can delete this half of the faces. And I'm going into vertex mode, and I need to turn on my wireframe again. You can see this needs to come out here. That looks about right. So it's more like that. And now I'm just looking at this back part here to see about where I need to make some cuts so that we can merge it to, or so that we can snap some of the vertices from the spoiler to the car, or from the car to the spoiler, one or the other. And it looks like maybe I should make a cut coming down here in between these two that I already have. And just another one coming down here. So we'll try that real quick. Again, we're not worried about poly count, so we'll just bring it all the way to the bottom of the car. And we'll do the same thing over here. And I'm sort of looking in the top viewport here to roughly line it up with how the spoiler's going. And then just clicking in the perspective. So I know which line to click on. Easier than trying to click in the top, where I can see lines from the top part of the model and the bottom. And we'll just bring that around like that. Actually, I think I need to bring the spoiler to the car in this case. So we're just going to snap that point there. Focus in on it so I can select this vertex there, snap it right here. And we'll do the same thing for the back here. Like so. And now we'll roughly align these in this viewport here. So it's flowing just a little bit. Now we need to do the same thing for the back here. I want it to be too warped, so come back and raise these up a little bit. Maybe like that. And now to finish the spoiler off, what we're going to need to do is come in here and select this face that it is connecting to. Which looks that one right there. Nope, the one above it. So this one, if we check, we can see that it is the face that this is going into, the spoiler, and we'll delete that. Now we select spoiler, select that face, and delete it. Now we're just going to select both the both objects here, and we're going to combine them. And now merge the vertices. And if all went well, now we'll be able to convert it, which we can. Turn off our wireframe. And we can see it's a little thin back here, but that's alright. Maybe now we'll select some of these here and we can lower them. Or we could just divide it more to keep it more square. Or you could just select them and scale them up, which is what I think I'm going to do. And then if you need that definition later on, if it's still way too thin, you can go ahead and use the split polygon tool and split this up, or you could just go ahead and do a polygon, what is it, subdivide, so then it's not going, when you smooth it off with either sub D or polysmooth, whichever, it's not going to round it off so much, and so it'll look a little bit closer to how it does in this mode right here. And now for this little grill part we have there, I think what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to try it this way, see if we can. Select these vertices and raise them up to about right there. just going to try a little extrusion. So that comes like that. And that looks like it'll work there. So now maybe we'll select these faces here. And go ahead and extrude them. And again, a universal one. So I'm actually going to bring them in just a little bit and then do another extrusion. Another extrusion. So maybe about like that. And now we have all these extra faces in here again to delete. And so now we'll need to merge those vertices. So, and actually before I do that, since this is only half the car, I need to get rid of these here. So now we'll merge the vertices. And so now you can go in and make the tail light in the back section here. It looks like there's a little grill covering it up because the engine's in the back too. And you can model the exhaust pipes, tailpipes. And you'll also need to bring these here up. More like that. So that's pretty much the back of the car. So we have the front, the side, and the back. You can go ahead and select them all. And if you want to get a rough idea of what they're going to look like, you convert them to sub D, put them in smooth, and then mirror it with the duplicate command. So now you get a rough idea of what your car is going to look like towards the end. And these little holes that you're seeing here are, of course, because the sections are still all individual, they're not one piece. And to fix that, all you do is combine them and then merge the vertices, exactly how we did with the attaching the spoiler to the body of the car. And again, it's looking a little thin back here. You probably want to add a little more detail. Let's go ahead and undo that. And we'll save it. And now you can get ready to model the top part of the car. The windows, the mirrors, the windshield, the back window, and the wheels, and that will be in the next tutorial.